Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain for You. It's a gorgeous day, high 60s, sun is out. So today's topic is going to be fear, pressure, criticism. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's take a couple of nice deep breaths. Been inside a lot today. Glad to get out, might go take a walk. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the stress. Breathe in the calm. Exhale the tension. Breathe in the certainty. Exhale the doubt. And of course, the minute I turn on the camera, you guys start this tractor. Hopefully it won't be too loud for you. I'll kind of turn the other way, so hopefully it won't be too loud. So, fear, pressure, criticism. What am I talking about there? Generally, those things often lead to this thing called TMS, the mind-body syndrome, neural circuit pain, right? Because without fear, the nervous system doesn't get too hypersensitive. Pressure and criticism, these can initially come from the outside world, but oftentimes they come from ourselves, right? Because if we were raised in a challenging environment, sometimes we put a lot of self-imposed pressures on ourselves to perform, to succeed, to do really, really well at all things so that we are liked and we are well received by those people that matter to us. And so, criticism, self-judgments, when we're not doing good enough in our mind, we beat the crap out of ourselves. And remember that video a few days ago, cut yourself some slack. That's part of it, right? So, fear, pressure, criticism typically equals TMS. Now, I saw a couple of people today saying, why does the pain come back? I was doing good for a while and now it came back. Well, sometimes we can fear it coming back, and that kind of opens the door and invites it back in. Or we just kind of slip back into our old ways of pressuring ourselves to be perfect and good and awesome, or self-judgmental or critical. And look, sometimes life stresses happen and we may not be thrilled with how we're dealing with the life stresses. And so I just believe that fear, pressure, and criticism are part of the recipe that kind of amps up this nervous system, this I'm not good enough belief system. And so, what do you guys think about this? Do you find that fear, pressure, and criticism, much of it self-imposed, is part of your TMS recipe, if you will? Have you noticed that when symptoms flare, there's an abundance of self-imposed pressure or criticism of yourself and what's going on? And certainly, when symptoms flare, fear is a big part of how long those symptoms stick around and the severity of them, which is why I always say don't freak out, right? So, I don't know, what do you guys think? It's a short topic today. We put so much damn pressure on ourselves to be good, to be perfect, to do the right things. And you know what? Once in a while we're going to screw up. We're going to say some things that offend people. We're going to say some things that disappoint other people, disappoint ourselves. And you know what? That's part of being human. So instead of being so judgmental, so critical, so self-critical, and putting so much pressure on ourselves to do good things and be perfect, be okay with not being so perfect, because honestly nobody is. We compare ourselves to everybody else on the internet, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, and see everybody's highlight reel, and everybody else seems to be doing amazing things, and all of a sudden we're sitting here going, but what's wrong with me? And it's so easy to compare ourselves and be such judgmental, self-judgmental and self-critical, and put pressure on ourselves. I should be doing better, and what's wrong with me? You see how that's a recipe for just feeling crappy? So not a terribly deep comment, but one that I hope gets you thinking about how you're treating yourself inside your head, and whether or not you can kind of be a little bit more kind and gentle. And you know, there's a lot of talk in this community about the inner child. And if you're overly critical of yourself, just ask yourself, would you be that way towards a child? Would you beat them up? Would you judge them? Would you criticize them? Would you tell them to be afraid of everything? I don't think you would. So a lot of what we do is soothing. A lot of what we do is calming down the nervous system and teaching the brain that we're okay. And sometimes the frame that says, imagine yourself as a child and how would you guide and coach yourself if you were a child, can be extremely useful. So if criticism, judgment, pressure, and fear really are a recipe for TMS, what can we do to gently shift away from those habitual ways of treating ourselves and say, well, if I were a 5-year-old, how would I feel being treated that way? And if the answer is not very good, then why the heck are we doing it at 50 years old, or 56 55 in my case, going on 56, right? Like I said, sometimes we screw up. We offer an apology and we move on. And so, I don't know, try not to beat yourself up. Try not to put so much pressure on yourself. Life is tough enough as it is. The last thing we need is this expectation of being perfect, this demand on ourselves to be perfect and flawless. So, yeah, I guess, the core message here is treat yourself nicely. Treat yourself as if you were a little kid who's struggling to, get through the world and figure it out. Because at the end of the day, I think from the moment we're born till the moment we die, we're all still trying to figure this shit out and do our best. And whatever we can do, all we can do is all we can do. But just know that all you can do is enough. And every day is a new day. We can learn from yesterday. Be a little bit more kind and compassionate towards ourselves. Smile a little bit more. Stop the criticism, stop the pressure. And stop fearing everything. Because at the end of the day, all that does is wind up our nervous system and our brain. We don't have to believe those fearful thoughts. So, fear doesn't keep us safe. Worry doesn't keep us safe. Anxious thoughts don't keep us safe. It just robs us from enjoying the moment. So, today, try to find some time to enjoy the moment. Smile. Even if you can't move very well right now. Get outside, sit in a chair. Stand in the sunshine. Smile. Notice, like around here, leaves are turning green. Sky's blue. It's beautiful. Something to be grateful for. It's not much, but it's a lot at the same time. So, love you guys and gals. I appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow.